Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV. You know what time it is. It's GR86 Cup time. Unfortunately not able to do it last week, but we are back this week for round 10 of the GR Buttkicker Cup official series on the iRacing service. We're racing at Snetterton circuit for this 10th round of the season. And, well, we've got a great turnout once again in these magnificent cars that provide fantastic racing every single time. No rain this week, which has disappointed us a little bit, but should still be exciting. Bringing it to you all live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. It's me, Reese Gardner. Got Scott Rankin with me in the comms box, and Jay Kennedy handling production behind the scenes as always. Well, Scott, Snetterton is a track that I've not hosted a broadcast at in quite some time, but it's always a circuit I look forward to going to. It's entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, difficult to drive on in the bigger cars as well. So, you know, the Toyota GR86 is just about the perfect package to be racing there. Brilliant for Formula Ford racing, but you know what? It feels wrong. It's just not British. Where is the rain? I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed too, to be honest. And Snetterton is right in the midst of the UK here. Former airfield, of course, in the Second World War. Like many UK racetracks, converted to a racetrack in the 1950s. Layout, of course, dates from 2011. It's been through a few changes over the years, this circuit, but this is the form it currently takes in FIA Grade 2 form. There's a lot of corners in this place, particularly in Sector 1, and they're very difficult to get right. There's very little elevation change to speak of around this place.
No, but there is the very interestingly named bomb hole towards the end of the lap, which creates a really, really difficult creek sort of dip just before you enter it, and that's difficult to master as well. Brundle into Nelson, 9 and 10 at the end of the back straight. It's about carrying speed, keeping the momentum up, but positioning the car and balancing it. If you carry too much speed on the entry to 9, you're not going to make 10, and that's the key factor in that one. It's very, very technical, very, very tricky, and yeah, there's a lot there. And by the way, I can tell you as well, Reece, that we've got in this one, the 13 car, Chase Saxfield, only 11 years of age. I've been actually witnessing a lot of his racing, and he's really coming to terms with the sim, very, very fresh to the sim. Made a couple mistakes in last night's FRG race in terms of pit stops, but that's all stuff that you get used to as a part of iRacing. So you got to make those mistakes before you can get it right. I'm really, really keen to see him behind the wheel of Toyota 86.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how he goes too. This is the roster for tonight in terms of how we're going to be conducting this. As always, a 15-minute sprint. No pit stops, just hard racing to the very end. The weather is changeable. As I said, not expecting rain this week, but could be some variance in weather conditions in terms of cloud cover and track temperature. So that's something the drivers will have to think about and tackle as it comes. Currently, 20 degrees Celsius track temperature with 19-degree air temperature. So it's pretty early in the morning here in virtual Snetterton, and well, I'm just waiting to see if that track temperature increases any, if there's a little break in the clouds. We'll still have to keep an eye on that.
Well, no rain, but it's a little bit warm for England, really, isn't it? So at least there's that. The Brits will be delighted with the weather they've got on for them, at least today. There is some cloud cover, at least circulating in and around the circuit, which has changed things up a little bit. And again, they call them the Discord they hang out in, which is the Discord that a whole bunch of the drivers are in, which includes Brett Selby-Wood, Mark Taylor, I believe Matt Brunt and Marlon McMullen are all over in there as well, having fun. It's known as the Laundry Source Crew, which that tells you just about all you need to know about those guys. The banter in there is absolutely phenomenal. Probably not safe for broadcast, though.
Yeah, probably not. It's one of those occasions that I'm glad we don't have the capability to listen to driver radios in race like they often do in the real world. Chase Saxfield, as you mentioned, Scott, very young driver, and some would say very green, but he's certainly wheeling this Toyota GR86 around like a professional. He's keeping the weight on the fronts here, coming into Murray's, the last corner at Snetterton. Use all of the curb on the exit, and to the end of his first qualifying lap. He's already attempted a couple, but it looks like he's gotten a couple of off tracks on his way out, and across the line he will come, and that's good enough for 14th place, 207.3, right in the dying seconds of qualifying. All right. Let's get going for the grid then, with all times being set. Marlon McMullen is going to start on pole position alongside Matthew Brunt. Behind them we have Mitchell McLeod and Mark Taylor, with Brett Selby-Woods starting in 5th place alongside Kurt Sonnet. Kenji Murasaki is going to start in 7th spot alongside Daniel Nichols in the number 4, and then Gavin Petty and Aaron Obersteller are going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, from there on back, it's going to be Michael Cullen and Miguel Angel Tome. It's going to be Jorge Miguel Lopez off alongside of Chase Saxild. Tobias Solheim off alongside of Luis Monedero. Christoph Jerabinski is going to be out of 17th alongside of Nathan Dixon. And Mitchell Muller did set a time to 209.141 from the rear of the field. 19 starters is going to make an interesting one at least. And that short run around, there's a lot of... It's a technical track, isn't it, Reese? It's about balance. The thing about racing here is you've got to have a car that turns quite well and changes direction quite well. The difficulty with that in a light suspension package such as the Toyota 86 actually has is keeping the balance over that rear wheels, particularly on cold tires, is going to be difficult. And look, all I'll be saying to Chase Saxild from his ear at the moment is sit, watch, learn. Those are the key factors for somebody who's only been on the platform, as far as I'm aware, about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, righto. That's a very green indeed there for Chase Saxild, but we're going to keep an eye out here for the start. It's a long run into turn 1, and it's a very fast first turn as well. They're going to be entering it at quite some speed, so we'll have to wait and see just how much room they're giving each other as they wheel themselves away through the last couple of corners to get ready for this rolling start. Expecting McMullen to get a good run, but it could get interesting in the midfield.
Yeah, it's going to be about bravery as well. It's always critical, you know, timing that start. If you mistime the start, think about how little power these cars have got as well. You're just suffering, you're struggling the whole way down the start-finish straight. So, you know, you've got to be on it. It takes so long to recover that lost momentum. You can't really miss it, and it's going to be difficult. So timing the start is going to be very, very key.
Yeah, it certainly is. Let's see who gets the best start here, as we are green in the GR86 Cup. Marlon McMullen is going to lead across the line, but Matthew Brunt under pressure already from Mitch McLeod as they make their way across the start-finish line. McLeod diving up the inside of Brunt for second in the first turn. It looks like everyone's given each other room there through turn 1. Clean start? No, actually. We're going to change that one around. Looks like Gavin Petty is going to fall down the order there as they come into the hairpin for the first time. Brunt not able to pass McLeod back, but there's a lot of scrambling in the midfield.
Yeah, it was Luis Pondero at the back end of the pack. I could see Kurt Sonnet's going toe-to-toe with Daniel Nichols at the moment. The 2 cars that are currently on screen. Oh, they're going to bang doors. They got away with that one. That's exactly how the cars should react as well. And there was somebody just apologising in the background. There's another incident as well, Reese.
Yeah, Tobias Solheim got spun around, contact I think with Jabinski and Dixon. Not too sure how that went down. Sure we'll get a replay at some point, but the racing's still going on here. Selby Wood trying on Taylor, but nothing doing for the time being. Taylor's going to hold on to it coming onto the back straight.
Yeah, and he manages to just about. They do bang some doors, and the rubbing's racing, and it's about carrying momentum off of that corner. Turn 8 onto the back straight. If you're not carrying pace there, it's going to take you too long. By the time you get to about here, you might start taking momentum out of the car in front, but that's not long enough to get inside. Underneath the bridge at the back end of the back straight, down through Brundle to the left-hand side, park it up on the curbs, make sure you open up the right-hander. It's all about setting up the right-hander through here. If you're a little bit weak under brakes through 10, through 9, the left-hander, you can be okay, gives you some recovery room through 10, and then bomb holes to flick to the right through the dip here.
Yeah, beautiful sequence of corners that. I really love that part of Snetterton as the number 13 of Chase Saxild trying to hold off Jorge Miguel Lopez. This is such an interesting sequence of corners, but Saxild's going to get bumped off there. Jorge Miguel Lopez there looks like missing the braking point, and Saxild not getting the best re-entry to the circuit there. I think Jabinski was very well informed on his rejoin there and getting on the brakes. Meanwhile, Selby Wood's battling is still continuing. He's going to try on Taylor coming into the hairpin. This is the battle for 4th place, and there's 5, 6, 7 cars involved. Make it 8. There's a whole train of them.
Yeah, I think they're all just getting checked up at the moment because Selby Wood and Taylor have sort of been squabbling over it for the better part of a lap now. And it's just dropping that momentum. And then Sonnet's looking for every opportunity he possibly can get. Is this towards the tail end? So this will be... Yeah, this is this corner on the previous lap, and that's the 15 and 16 cars getting into it as well.
Goodness gracious. Big hit to the back there. For the cars involved, there's a lot of guardrails here around Snetterton, which will certainly ruin your day. You're coming to them at the wrong angle. Kurt Sonnet with perhaps the best helmet of them all out there. I think that's Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson. Love that. Sonnet trying to chase down towards the midfield, up in 5th place at the moment. I'd say it's more towards the front though. Let's see what he can do coming down the straight. The slipstream will be in use coming under the bridge, coming into turns 9 and 10, but there's not enough of a gain here to... Oh my lord. Oh.
Taylor was deep, and the other thing is, Reese, that's incredibly apt. You reckon he's gesturing? You can't talk, and Oversteller's going around.
Yeah. Oversteller getting sent off there at turns 9 and 10. It doesn't look like there was contact. Oh no. Oh, Chase Saxfield's night going from bad to worse, but he needs to be careful of the re-entries. Oh, got to use the F3 black box there, mate. Be aware of cars coming up on you. I think it's been very good, the incident avoidance for drivers coming up on drivers that have been spun off. I will say that. It's there's been a lot of heads-up driving there.
So, yeah, Oversteller in too hot. So that's what I was talking about. Set yourself up at 9. The problem is a lot of lap time can be made at 9, and this is Saxfield's reasonable in on his own, and then just gets cleaned up. That's racing.
Yeah, it's a shame. You know, the incidents themselves haven't been Saxfield's fault. You know, it's just a shame to see that he's gotten pile drived on a couple of occasions there. Hopefully he's undamaged enough that he'll be able to continue on from here. We're rapidly closing in on 10 minutes to go as Obersteller and Saxfeld have both pulled into the pits, and it looks like that'll be for damage repair at the very least. Brett Selby Wood in the 555 WRC Subaru Tribute livery is going to have a big race on his hands. I mean, I suppose that's a semi-accurate livery for Selby Wood to be running, because the Toyota GR86 is sold as a Subaru as well.
Yeah, I suppose that's the rebadged BRZ is the way to look at it, or is it the original badge BRZ? Yeah, but he's always done that one. He's a big fan of that car, as well as it's probably, I think, his favourite car, to be honest with you. When you talk to him about cars of the past and historics, and that's what he gets into. So yeah, he loves that livery, absolutely loves it.
And he's representing it well, still running in the top 5 and fending off some great pressure from Kurt Sonnet, and then this pack of Nichols, Murasaki and Gavin Petty as well. Love to see a Texaco livery being run wherever it may be. Kenji Murasaki, the one Japanese driver in the field here, trying to stake his claim for a position in the top 7 with Nichols just up ahead. Coming into Murray's though, he's having to cover off Gavin Petty. Despite the narrow entry, still getting a pretty good exit. We'll have to wait and see how that works out from coming into turn 2 though, because Petty will have the slipstream coming across the line to start lap 4.
Might be interesting to keep half an eye on that one. Mitch McLeod goes the fastest lap of the race, but Selby Wood's getting closer and closer and closer to Mark Taylor. It's probably about the closest battle that we got on track at this point in time. Albeit, McLeod is starting to come back a little bit at McMullen. It's wide from Taylor there. That's a mistake. That's going to present an opportunity for Selby Wood.
Yeah, certainly is, but it's going to be covered here by Taylor. Oh, that was a bit borderline there. Of course, Taylor and Selby Wood, as you mentioned, in the same Discord, so they'll be in communication with each other about it. I think they're just out there having a bit of fun. But Kurt Sonnet is not part of all of this, and he sees an opportunity to make a way through as they're going to go briefly side by side, but there's no overlap there for Selby Wood to have a go.
Did somebody tell Brett Selby Wood this wasn't NASCAR? Because I don't think he heard you.
Yeah, well, I suppose, you know, the cars are mechanically the same, aren't they? So it might as well be NASCAR for him at this stage. But he's had a bad run through the last couple of corners. Kurt Sonnet will be right on him here. It's all about the exit. Selby Wood, I think, has gathered it up some, and he'll be able to at least defend the slipstream. It seems like Taylor's gotten an even worse exit, and will be having some trouble trying to fend them off here into turns 9 and 10. Got to keep the rear end stable over the bumps here. It's very easy to lose the rear of the GR86, as we've seen so many times before. This is how close they got to disaster. Into the braking zone. Boop. Just a little bump there, and Selby Wood backing out there just to allow Taylor to keep the position. This is really entertaining.
I guarantee the comms on Discord would have been along the lines of, come on, mate, hurry up, you're slowing me down.
Yeah, well, Mark Taylor has definitely gotten the hurry up, because look at how far ahead of Selby Wood he is now. Actually enjoys an 0.8 of a second gap, and Selby Wood's got the entire pack behind him now. This is turning into a very entertaining race. I'm loving what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and the difficulty is, you know, Selby Wood sort of makes a little bit of a mistake. Taylor makes a mistake, checks everyone up. And that puts Selby Wood under pressure. Then Mark sort of sets back into his pace, and Selby Wood then comes under assault.
Whoa, no, that's way too deep. Way too deep for the Japanese driver of Kenji Murasaki. That has turned around Kurt Sonnet. It's also involved, I think, Michael Cullen too. Murasaki, though, doing the sportsman-like thing and slowing down. He's going to allow Kurt Sonnet to resume the position. Well, he does get up to speed, but I don't know. I think he was at the very least letting by Cullen. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but yeah, that was a fair whack. That's a shame to see. I think Murasaki was attempting to redress the position, but realized that Sonnet was too far behind at that point, so he's resumed normal running.
Yeah, I mean, you know, attempted to do the right thing, I suppose. Could have been a slowdown in effect as well, though. You lost enough time. I'd say that one should have cleared itself. But, yeah, getting tighter back up at the front at this point in time, Mitch McLeod. And I like the eBay Motors point. That's both bright, eye-catching, and unique.
Yeah, indeed. You certainly won't be able to miss Marlon McMullen out there. He's riding those curbs beautifully, isn't he? Pinpoint accuracy. It's so easy to cut the corner a little bit too much at turn 10 and get sent high over the anti-cut curb, but McMullen is inch perfect in his precision driving here. Let's see if McLeod, though, has anything to give here. He is the faster car right now, has been gaining a bit over the last few laps, and he's solidly in the slipstream. Just 4.5 minutes left. It looks to me like that'll be 3 laps to go, considering the pace of the drivers. So it's crunch time for McLeod.
Yeah, time to nut up or shut up is the way I generally talk about it, because you got to be close. You got to force the mistake. So what you're looking for now, and how you're going to set this move up, is you force him to cover, right? In these cars, you can be really, really accurate. Yes, the draft is absolutely worth a lot, but now he's got to force him into a mistake to actually get alongside and get the job done. And for Brett Selby Wood, he'd be thinking about the same thing. Force him into a mistake. There's the mistake, and through he goes.
Yeah, indeed. Taylor, very fortunate not to get cleaned up by other drivers coming through there, as we keep an eye on this fight between McMullen and McLeod for the lead. Coming into Hamilton Corner is the next one, the kink leading into the double right coming onto the back straight. This is one of the most difficult corners on the circuit to get right, and well, certainly it is for me, but evidently not for McMullen and McLeod. Looks like Taylor is continuing to lose positions there. He's been passed by Daniel Nichols and is now down to 7th spot now. So there's not much time for Taylor to make up that ground, but you see how hard both McMullen and McLeod are pushing. They are leaving nothing on the table. They're even spilling over the edges of it, getting into the grass there on the inside of the turn. But McMullen, a bit too far ahead for McLeod to really make a move at this point.
Yeah, he's not saving. There's no reason saving in a sprint race like this. Now he's actually incredibly close on the brakes, but then McMullen will build it out the other side. This isn't really an opportunity to make an overtake down through here. And the other thing to keep in mind as well is these guys are going to go toe-to-toe. So Taylor was trying to put some pressure back on Nichols, got to him, sort of ran out of room. There was nothing really doing, and now he's forced to sort of line back up and try and set it up. So I think it's through here for Marlon McMullen that he's been really strong, is that final sector all the way around the right-hander as it keeps doubling back with not a lot of markers to keep half an eye on. It's a very, very difficult corner to sort of get your bearings right and get your turning and your accuracy right for.
Yeah, and it wasn't on. He wasn't on screen at the time, but I saw that McLeod was having a much more aggressive entry into the final turn. He was on the brakes later than McMullen, and that destabilized him a little. McMullen is braking a little bit earlier into the final corner and having a smoother run through it as a result. That's partially what's allowing him to stay ahead, as Dan Nichols is trying to keep Mark Taylor behind him here, almost squeezes him out to the exit, but gives him enough space here, defensive into the hairpin, as Selby Wood has made his way past Gavin Petty, but Petty, unfortunately, will spin him around there, as Selby Wood wasn't quite clear of him on the exit. Careful! Oh no! Now Selby Wood and Taylor both involved there, as Michael Cullen will move through to gain 6th spot there. Petty and Nichols, despite the damage they would have gained there from those incidents, will probably be happy with a couple of freebies.
Yeah, it's more than a little bit of freebies as well. And check this battle out deeper in the pack as well, back down to the inside. A little bit interesting from Selby Wood. He would have had the call to the outside saying, hey, there's a car still out, there's a car still out, there's a car still out there. So ran him out of road, and that's the risk you run. You don't leave that margin, and it's too much. So watch the braking zone here, and Petty actually goes incredibly deep. He misses the marker. And I think Selby Wood's just going, I'm probably going to clear him here on the exit, but of course it's such a slow, narrow corner that running it around the outside's actually not terrible. It's not the fastest way, that's for sure, but it's not the quickest. And then the rejoin.
Yeah, Selby Wood, I don't know why he turned left at that point. That was an interesting decision there, and unfortunately it gained Dan Nichols quite a bit of damage, and Mark Taylor getting spun off as a result. So there'll be a bit of a debrief between Taylor and Selby Wood, to be sure. But it is the final lap of the race beginning momentarily. Marlon McMullen will take the white flag with Mitch McLeod chasing him down. It's been an interesting race, plenty of action, plenty of drama, but we haven't seen anything erupt between these two yet. This might be the lap for that to happen.
I don't know about that. I think Mitch is just looking at this one and just going, man, I'm just too far back. He's literally just towing me along. I'm not quite as accurate as I'd like to be. I'm not quite as quick as McMullen, and just a couple of little mistakes. He's got to be closer for me. He's got to be closer. I think the best opportunity he's going to have is the run down to Brundle. He's got to be close enough there. If he hasn't got it alongside by Brundle, I think it's over.
Yeah, we got to wait for the run through Brundle to see what happens. The battling's still going on in the midfield. Michael Cullen, Kenji Murasaki, and Kurt Sonnet now. Remember, Sonnet was the driver that was spun around by Murasaki a few laps ago at the hairpin. So this is a chance for redemption here for Murasaki to see if he can, have a nice clean battle with Sonnet. Same for Sonnet, trying to gain the position. He's nice and late on the brakes coming into the left-hander, and he's going to hold the outside here. And Murasaki might just give this up. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, he's going to give him the position there. But finally redressed from the issues they had earlier. McMullen now, well, he feels the pressure from McLeod. Flashing the lights, weaving around on the straight to try and break the slipstream. And here comes Mitch McLeod, just edging ever closer. Let's see what the run's like through bomb hole. If McLeod can nail this, it's almost flat out in these cars, if not entirely flat out. McLeod now just needs to have a lunge at the final corner to try and stake his claim for the win, but I'm sure if he's too far back, he won't go for it. McLeod doesn't always like winning races in a non-clean fashion, and there we go. He's going to let McMullen have it. So, across the start-finish line they'll come, and Marlon McMullen will take the win here in our broadcast of Week 10 of the GR Buttkicker Cup.
Yeah, good race. Good, pretty close. I mean, McLeod held him honest. That was the key factor. Brunt's going to come home in third and quite comfortably. Gavin Petty, after all that drama, skips clear and gets home. And Cullen didn't get a great exit off the line. So I wonder whether or not there's going to be enough momentum. There's going to be nothing in this one.
Oh, he's ahead.
Sonnet's got it. And didn't get side drafted back. Yeah, so Sonnet picks that one up over Cullen.
Wow. Yeah, that was a great battle to the line. Great drag race between Kurt Sonnet and Michael Cullen. That will settle the battle for 6th place. Sonnet, he got knocked off by Murasaki earlier, but ended up working his way back up to his starting position as 6th. He'll at least be able to take solace from that. And Chase Saxild is going to be one of the last drivers to cross the line here. Bit of a tough race for the young guy, but hey, at least it'll be some valuable experience gained in the Toyota GR86. And, pitting for damage, yes, he'll be able to get across the line with a non-damaged car at the very least.
Yeah, and it's basically just, you got to put bowl claps in at this point in time, don't you? You've really got to bludge yourself. You've got to find ways to get more racing experience. And there's incidents there, and I hope he has a look back at them. The critical factor will be the rejoins. And for somebody with that lack of, understanding of the amount of time he's been on he's not 100% aware of his surroundings yet. You got to build that up, right? Aware of his surroundings in a go-kart, absolutely, but a racetrack in a car that's much faster is a completely different thing, particularly a car that's unbalanced and rejoining as well. There's lessons there.
There is, but at least he got to the checkered flag. Good on you, Chase. Marlon McMullen is going to win the race by 2/10 from Mitch McLeod. We have to go a further 6 seconds back to find Matthew Brunt. Petty is going to get in the top 4 with Nichols, 5th place. Good job there from Daniel Nichols. 3 spots gained, not to say nothing of 5 positions gained for Gavin Petty. Kurt Sonnet will finish where he started in 6th, ahead of Cullen, Murasaki, Tomei, and Lopez. All of them very close together, only covered by a second or 2.
From there back to Mark Taylor. He'll be disappointed with friend Brett Selbywood further down. Contact that didn't necessarily need to be made. Mitchell Muller, Nathan Dixon, Louis Mondero, Christoph Jabinski, and Tobias Solholm. Brett Selbywood home on the lead lap. Aaron Oversteller, and in final position, Chase Saxild. Again, lessons to be learned, but that's the key thing. Get out there, get racing. You can't learn those lessons sitting in pit lane.
Yeah, certainly not. And the field covered by 1 minute and 30 seconds, everyone finishing on the lead lap. Well, if you're Aussie, good news. We go to Sandown next week in the GR Buttkicker Cup. We'll be able to broadcast that here on SimSpeed TV next Thursday night. So mark that down in your calendar, 7:20 p.m. Australian Eastern. And, well, if you want to have a run, you can register for this series. It's open to everyone from D-Class and above. So, never know. Maybe you'll get onto the SimSpeed TV broadcast next Thursday night. Hopefully you enjoyed all of that and had a fun time here with myself, Reese Gardner, and Scott Rankin here on SimSpeed TV. Looking forward to seeing what Sandown brings, but until then, we'll say goodbye and, well, we'll say hello again very soon later tonight because our next broadcast is going to be the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Australian Sprint Car Championship at Eldora. So if you want more racing action on your Thursday night, keep yourself with your finger on the pulse here on SimSpeed TV.